Hi, and welcome to this episode of Little Sprout Speech TV. Grab your pen and paper because today we are talking about how to teach your child about feelings. So tip number one is going to be use pictures. So just like in our social stories, when we use pictures with a smiley face, you're going to want to show your child a picture that says, I feel happy. And this is a really tiny one. Sorry about that. But I feel happy. Oh, when you wash your hands, it makes me happy. When you have, quiet hands, it makes me happy. When you have nice feet, it makes mommy happy. And so if you start talking about things that make you happy, they're going to start putting these things together and understanding like, oh, when I do these things my mom is asking me to do, it makes her feel happy. And then on the flip side, happy versus sad, and these are the first two I would teach. If your child is not doing something they're supposed to do, right? So maybe it makes you feel a little sad. You're going to say, oh, when we use our feet to kick, it makes me feel sad. Or when you use your hands to hit your friends, it makes your friends feel sad. And so when you talk about the things that make you sad versus the things that make you happy, using those pictures can really kind of pull it all together for them because it gives them this visual up here. So that's number one, is use the pictures, right? Number two is to only teach two at a time, right? So start with happy and sad. And as they get happy and sad, then maybe you can add in, mad. Ooh, I don't like when, when Annie touches my shoe, that makes me mad. Or I don't like when people touch my arm, that makes me mad. Or I don't like when somebody takes my toy, that makes me mad. So you can start talking about things that make you mad, or pretending as if you're your child and you know what triggers them. And then as you go along, you can add more and more. I would say add only one at a time because remember, they still have to compete with all the prior ones that they had learned. So, one at a time, and eventually you'll get up to a good repertoire of feelings, and they'll really start to understand what these feelings mean. Number three is create some kind of a system that works for you. So I'm going to show you two. One of them goes with the pictures I just showed you, and I wish that I had the name of the person who created this on it so I could give them credit because I've been using this for 5-6 years and I don't know who created it. The person who originally cut, pasted, and laminated it for me did not keep, I guess the name was further down on the page and that name got removed from the part that got laminated, unfortunately. But really super awesome tool here because these pictures don't change. It just says, I feel, and then these all come off and go back on. Tired, happy, mad, sad, and so on and so forth. And then down here, and you'll see it says feel I, and I'll explain that. I'll tell you that story in a second. But this is something I've used with a lot of children with autism, especially children with Asperger's, a little bit higher functioning, to start teaching emotions and feelings as young as 3-4 years of age, and they really get it. And one of my 4-year-olds, so cute, he actually put feel I because he thought it was hilarious to mix up the words, and so we kind of went with it because my goal here was not creating, I knew he could say I feel, so I was like, if he wants to be silly and change those up, my goal here is to make sure he understands the emotions. So have some fun sometimes, it's okay to be silly. So that's one, the feelings board. Then another one that another one of my kiddos uses came from his occupational therapist, and I believe it's from the book or from the program called like How Your Engine Runs. I could be getting the name wrong. I haven't read the book, but I've used this system because I modeled it after the one he was using at home in an occupational therapy. And it really helped him because this one talks about where he is, if he's feeling high, just right, or low. And it talks about the emotions that go with high and the emotions that go with just right and the emotions that go with low. So the really cool thing about this is that he could look at it and go, oh, right now I feel I'm happy and calm. Oh, I'm just right. And so it was fun to be able to see how he actually started to apply this to characters in books. And you know, he'd read about something that happened and he'd say, oh, his engine's too high, or oh, his engine is too low, you know, or he, you know, I'd say, well, how are you feeling right now? My engine feels just right. And so it was a very cute system to use, and he really grasped it. Now this kiddo he's in kindergarten right now, but he's been using this, I believe, for at least a year or so. So since he made that transition to kindergarten, preschool. So another really successful system. So that's what I mean when I say make a system that works for you and your child. You can use one of these or you can create your own. So let's review our tips. Tip number 1 was to, like I've been saying quite a bit lately, if you follow my videos, put it in pictures. Tip number 2 is to just teach 2 emotions when you start, and then only add 1 at a time as you go along. And tip number 3, put into some kind of system that your child can either have on the wall and reference, or because I would actually keep this right over here during our therapy sessions, and he was able to just look right there and see it. I tucked it in right there. You know, or maybe even a pocket size where you can carry it around, or something they can carry on them so they have it to constantly reference. So that's it. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that teaching your child emotions is a fun little journey. I look forward to talking to you guys same place, same time next week. This is Hallie Balkin signing off.